Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. We're right here in the city of Memphis, in the county here in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, February the 20th, 2023. And the time is 2:04 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement, continue to keep myself employed right in the Memphis tri-state area, continue to further my education, more work hours online, continue to pursue my social media, being administrative contract, marketing, the present time. In the present time, I took a break and go to school in the very near future. I will be going back to more work hours online, continue to pursue my social media, being administrative contract, and marketing. Now, I'm going to start my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. We're right in the city of Memphis, in the county of state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, February the 20th, 2023. The time is 2:06 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement. Continue to keep myself employed right in the Memphis tri-state area. Continue to further my education, more work hours online. Continue to pursue my social media study, being administration, contract, and marketing. Present time going. It's present time take a break and go to school in the very near future. We'll be going back to more work hours online. Continue to pursue my social media study, being administration, contract, and marketing. Now, what you see in front of you, anti-gang, anti-Gnostic, also anti-hazing, and also adversus heresies, translated meaning against heresies. Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, together with Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, they wrote a 5-volume book refuting Gnosticism in the 1st and 2nd century, proving that Gnosticism was a heresy. Also, Saint Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, in the year 367 A.D., in his 39th festival letter, Easter letter, banned all non-Christian writing. The Nag Hammadi Library is some non-Christian writing that has been banned. The Gnostic theologian doing all the writing, St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, together with all the other bishops in the Catholic Church that went around and collected all that Gnostic writing and tried to destroy it. A few copies of that Gnostic writing didn't get destroyed. It was already refuted. Gnosticism already been refuted in the 1st and 2nd century, proven to be a heresy. Also, St. Epiphanius of Salome, the Bishop of Cyprus, wrote a 3-volume book titled Panarian, Greek, Panarian, Latin, translated meaning bread basket. Scholars have also said that St. Epiphanius of Salome, Bishop of Cyprus, 3-volume book is also adversus heresies, against heresies. The Almighty, Vice Lord, Four Corner Hustle. The Almighty, Black Prince Stone. The Almighty, Black Disciple, Pop. The Almighty, Mickey Cobras, Crack. The Almighty Bluefin, Black Disciple, the Black Disciples. The Lord Stone Disciple, 7-Eleven, G Killer. See? The history of the city of Chicago. Now, I'm not going to be long on my video today. I know I'm just not doing my video again, but I think it's been like about 2 weeks. Because this is what, this is the second, going on the third weekend, the month of February. And right at the end of February, okay, yeah. But as you know, I have been saying, of course, I lost my father, Chester Johnson Jr. Back in 2012, February of 2012, I lost my father, Chester Johnson Jr. And last year, which is 2022, my mother had gotten sick. She got ill around about March. Around about March when she first got sick, and went to the hospital, and got diagnosed and everything. And then from that point on, she was being treated for her illness, and so that's the reason why when I made my video, I was always saying that I was going to see my mother every day. I was going to visit my mother every day, which I was. And regrettably, this year, on January the 29th of 2023, my mother, Annabelle Johnson, she passed away. And she had a funeral, before she had a funeral, MJ Edwards Funeral Home. They handled my father's funeral, viewing of the body, and of course the funeral, as well as even when he got buried. MJ Edwards Funeral Home, right here in Whitehaven. And they also handled my mother. viewing of the body, which was Thursday, February the 9th. And then my mother's funeral was that Friday morning, 11 o'clock. Friday morning at Midtown Church of Christ, because my father, he had his funeral at South Parkway East Church of Christ. And so my mother, she had her funeral at and my father, his funeral was on a Saturday. And my mother, she had her funeral on the 10th, 10th, which was Friday morning at Midtown Church of Christ. And so, and then my mother was buried with my father, because my father was buried at the West Tennessee Veterans Cemetery. And now my mother, she had her burial ceremony on this past Monday, which was the 13th. She had a burial ceremony at the West Tennessee Veterans Cemetery, and she buried with my father. That's what they wanted, to be together in life as well as in death. And also, that's my Uncle Lemuel, my father's little brother, my Uncle Lemuel Johnson. While I was incarcerated, he was murdered, and but like I said, my mother, Annabelle Johnson, she passed away, and I always love my mother like I love my father. I'm gonna always miss my mother like I miss my dad. And so, I'm gonna take this opportunity to read one of my mother's favorite Psalms, as well as my father. Many people also, one of the favorite Psalms is the 23rd Psalm. And it reads, and I'm reading Old Testament, King James Version of the Holy Bible, the 23rd Psalm. And it reads, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. And like I said, that was the Old Testament, the 23rd Psalm. And I have one more verse that I like to read. The New Testament in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse number 4. And it reads, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Amen. And again, I just read the New Testament, chapter 5, Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse number 4. And it wasn't my intent to start my video this late. I was moving I admit, I was moving slow and, but like I said, I wasn't going to be long. What I want to do today is do my video and pretty much just inform all those listening and watching and listening is that my mother, Annabelle Johnson, she had passed away. And like I said, she had got sick back in 2022, last year. And after getting sick and being diagnosed and then being treated, trying to recover just was pretty difficult. And so, of course, it was always my hope that my mother would be able to recover. But regrettably, she just couldn't, recover from the illness, and she passed away. But I said I have a lifetime of just beautiful memories of my mother, and the relationship that I had with my mother always been a good relationship. I can honestly say that all my life, my mother, she was a good mother, a good wife, and just an all around good person, a Christian. I don't want to never forget how my mother, all of her life, because my granddad and my grandmother, like I said, went to Klondike Church of Christ, and, morning service, evening service, Bible Wednesday night Bible study when they had Bible study. I mean, they was staunch supporters of being a Christian, you know. And Father's Day knew that was the truth, you know. And I mean, went to church regularly. So my mother, being influenced by her mother and father, which was my grandmother and grandfather, had it instilled in her from a child to be a Christian. To be a Christian. And up until the day she passed away, just like my father. My father, all the years that I lived, all I can say was a good husband and a good father. And he was a Christian. When he died, when he passed away, my dad was a Christian. Baptized in the church, he was a Christian. And I'm not going to disappoint my father. I'm not going to disappoint my mother, because all the years that I lived my life, I even got baptized in the church at an early age. And so I still try to live my life as a Christian. And I'm still going to be a Christian to the day I die. But like I've been saying, I felt all this denying black/African American education, saying something about some Church of Christ when there's no history other this what you call the Church of Christ. There's no church history. There's no such thing as a Church of Christ. There's nowhere in church history of a Church of Christ. What you be saying about the first century church is a lie. That's what you be doing. You be lying. So that's the point I've been about being a Catholic. See, I didn't never want to go out and be a member and be uninformed. See, I want to be as informed as I can, so when I make that choice and when I make that decision, it ain't no approaching me out on the street or anywhere saying anything to me about my faith, my belief. No, talking about being a Protestant, like I've been saying you don't know what the word refute means, and you don't know what a heresy means. Because you could never walk around and say you're a Protestant. Talking about some Baptist church, talking about Jehovah's Witness and the Church of God in Christ. Man, whatever you're trying to make up, it's a lie. And it really irritates me that people actually pride themselves on lying. I mean, these people walk around with their chest stuck out and they proud to lie. They proud to be a liar. They wear it with a badge of honor that they lie. But that's not the way I live. And when I look at my dad and I look at my mom, I feel sympathy for them. I look at my granddad and my grandma on my dad's side and my mama's side. And I sympathize with them, and I always pray for them. Because I know that life was different for them than it is for me. But because of the sacrifices that they made during their period, during their lifetime, I can look at the world today and I can honestly say that because of them, the world is a better place to live. I can honestly say that. And so I want to always remember my dad and my mama to say I'm a Christian. But I also want to say that I'm a Catholic. And that's what I'm going to be working toward for the rest of my life. informing myself first and being baptized in the Catholic Church and be a Christian to the day I die. I'm going to always honor my dad, and I'm going to always honor my mama's memory to be a Christian and to be a Catholic. I ain't going to never forget my dad. I ain't going to never forget my mom. Never. I'm going to always honor their memory. I'm going to always honor their memory by being a Catholic, by being a Christian. I ain't going to never forget. I'm going to always have love in my heart for my dad, Chester Johnson Jr. I'm going to always have love in my heart for my mother, Annabelle Johnson. Always. Like I said, it wasn't my intent to start my video today. I honestly, I was moving a little too slow, and but regardless, like I said, I still want to do my video first to inform all those who are watching and listening that my mother had passed away. That's the reason why I didn't do my video, because I tried. I do intentionally try to make my video on a regular basis, and try to make sure that I make my video. And when I make my video, I try to make sure that the issues that need to be addressed be addressed. But like I said today, I'm really not going to try to, it really wasn't my intent to try to deal with, go into a lot of things like I usually do. I wanted to make sure that I address my mother passing away. And, honor her memory as well as my father. And then from that point on, move on and to always remember my dad and my mother, because the house, every day that I make my video, all the videos that I made, this house, this home that I'm living in, my dad and my mother. So it's no way that I could ever forget my dad and mother. Then I always try to do things to show that I don't forget. I intentionally do things to make it clear that if it's anything that I don't want to do, is I don't never want to forget my dad, and I don't want to forget my mother. I don't never forget my dad, who I love, and I don't never forget my mother. I love my mom. I do. And so, like I said, I want to, on today's video, I just want to address, my mother's passing away. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I know when I leave my video on a regular basis, people watch. And so, people will be aware, that my mother has passed away, and that my father already passed away, but my mother passed away. So, briefly, just a few moments. What time is it? 2? Yeah. I just want to, briefly, just, a few things. I ain't gonna even take but about a minute or two. I know that addressing the issue of passing, having to deal with my mother passing away, but still, I had to live in the world just like everybody else. And, each and every day, it can be local news, it can be regional or national news, and of course, world news. And when we talk about news, news is so broad, and the information is coming from so many directions. I don't know whether you're talking about entertainment or sports or fashion, or when you say news, you have to break news down into categories, because you got entertainment first of all, then then you got sports, and then when you say sports, you have to break it down into, it can be soccer, or what we call football or soccer, and then it could be the NFL, it could be baseball, it could be the NBA, it could be sports. I mean, auto racing, motorcycle racing. Sports is so broad. It can be gymnastics. It can be, so that's the way the news is. Then you got business news. You got, then when you talk about business news, of course, quite naturally it's gonna have to be broke down into categories, and so the news is very broad, very broad, and so I can, like everybody, I think one of the biggest shocking news reports was here in the city of Memphis. It was just, like anybody, when I first heard about it being reported on the news, local news, and then it made national news being reported, even before everybody seen the body, body cam from the police video and all that about this young man here in the city of Memphis named Tyree Nichols, and who was murdered by the police, by the Memphis Police Department, this so-called special unit. This young man was murdered. I mean, and then before the general public, even before this man's family, even before the police department themselves had actually seen the video, then once they seen the video, they had the police department first viewed the body cam, and they just went ahead and fired the 5 black police officers that was on the, and now it's been reported that there was some white police officers was right there, and you can hear one of them, the white police officer, talking, giving instructions to the other to do this or do that. But and then other people like the first responders and the people from the sheriff department. I'm like, and I'm honestly, hearing about it first hearing about it, the police had done something, and then they showed this young man's picture in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? My reaction before seeing the body cam as well as after seeing the body cam, my reaction, it wasn't anger, but it was really sad. And I'm still sad because I don't understand me. I'm talking about me. I don't understand your lack of respect for human life. I don't understand your point of view. And I don't see your point of view. I don't see any reason to to perform your duties in such a way where you don't even have any regard for human life. I mean, it's like there's no point where you just stop. There's nothing that can just trigger a response in your brain to say, let's just say, it's just like if you get into let me say this. Being out on the street. Let me go here. Let me go here just for a moment. Don't misunderstand. Let me just say it. Being out on the street, getting into a fist fight. And it's been times I done got into a fist fight. And I was mad, angry, whatever. Wanted to beat the living crap out of somebody. And that's literally what I done. But there was a point. I didn't kill nobody. You see where I'm going with this? It may have been my intent to whoop the mess out of somebody in a fight, but I didn't get to the point where I wanted to kill nobody in a fight. It was my intent just to beat your butt, to put a good whooping on you. And then when you get down, when I knock you down and, you know, you can't even get back up or you don't want to fight no more, then I just say, okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it at that. I didn't just keep on going and going and going on after you get down on the ground or you fall down, you get a busted nose or you get a busted eye, you know what I'm saying? And just go on and on. Then it went from me getting into a fist fight, and then in the process of getting into a fist fight, being out on the street, somebody win, somebody lose. So okay, if I'm winning the fight, since I'm winning the fight, it went from me winning the fight to me going actually killing somebody. That's what I'm getting at. See, it was a point where in my brain saying, look, Eric, okay, you won the fight. Leave it at that. You won the fight. And so I'm looking at Tyree Nichols. I'm like, okay, you done snatched the man out the car. And then after you snatch him out of the car, you start tasing the man and start hitting him and, punching on him and giving orders and instructions. The man didn't even know what he had done. He asked, man, what did I do? What did I do? You ain't even answer. You know what I'm saying? See, it's not a point where, what you see. Let's just say if you see some blood coming out of his nose. It's 5 of them. It's not nowhere in your brain that's saying, look, okay, that's enough. Enough is enough. You got some licks in. You got some blows in. You got a kick in. Okay. You want to get you a free lick in. Okay. You got you some blows in. But it's nothing in your brain that's telling you, hey, man, enough is enough. You see what I'm talking about? You see where I'm going with this? It's just like me. Take it back to Eric. Getting into a fist fight out on the street. Somebody win the fight. Somebody lose the fight. That's how it go. And then when you get into a fist fight, if you bust somebody's nose and they still fight, okay, the fight's still going on. Somebody get hit in the stomach, okay. See, it get to a point in the fist fights, somebody will say, okay, enough is enough. Either somebody that win the fight say, okay, I ain't gonna whoop you no more. Or the other person saying, look, you ain't gonna whoop my ass. The fight ain't over. Okay, now they done came back. Now they still fight. Now the fight's still going on. But still, in a fight, I mean, if it's not your intent to kill somebody, just to get into a fight to prove like us men, like men do. You want to prove your manhood, that you stood up, that you not gonna let nobody punk you. You gonna stand up for yourself. You gonna defend yourself. Okay, you did that. It didn't lead to death, but I mean, some cases, it's just, But I mean, we talking about, is it something in your brain that say, okay, enough is enough. Okay, you done won the fight. And I done been in that situation on more than one occasion. Hey, look, I'm still walking around on the street. I'm not in jail for murder. I done got into fist fights before, and I'm telling you, beat the living crap out of somebody. But hey, that's what I did. But hey, I left it at that. Hey, look, walk away, leave it at that, and just move on. So when I'm looking at Tyree Nichols, I'm like, hey, man, nothing in your brain tell you, hey, man, enough is enough. And that's the point. I don't see. I don't understand. I don't understand how you don't see, man. That was uncalled for. There was no reason for this young man to die. I mean, we all sitting here looking now we got the body cam. Everybody see the body cam. There's no reason for anybody to say that they killed this man. No reason. No valid reason for this young man to die. None whatsoever. I don't be angry. I just be sad. I'm just sad. I feel sorry for that young man, man. I don't want to be angry. I want to feel sorry for that young man. I really do. That's the first thing that I want to do. When I saw that body, I wanted to feel sincere sympathy. I wanted to feel sorry for the young. I'm like, man, why? I don't understand your way of thinking, man. I don't understand why you just couldn't stop. Why you just couldn't stop punching that man? Why you just couldn't stop kicking that man? Why 5 black guys couldn't see that this young man was terrified and had fear? Why wasn't that enough? Why is it that you couldn't stop when you see that this man couldn't do anything to hurt you? I just don't see it, man. I don't understand. I don't feel no sympathy for them guys in the courtroom. I feel that, that the courtroom should do what's right by that young man and to punish you in the courtroom. And to send you to jail. And to say that you were punished. And to say that you were punished, man, because it ain't no excuse. And I mean, literally, if you could try to come up with some kind of explanation saying why, just like somebody throws some mess out talking about he tried to reach for a gun. It ain't no excuse for you, that young man, to die. It ain't no excuse for that young man to die. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I can't see not, I just don't understand. I can never, after seeing the body cam video, ain't no way in the world I can't never see any one of them got nobody. Anybody, and then now then they said there's something about the first responders. I mean, what you? And I'm not going to even get into some of this gossip mess I've been hearing. I don't even see it, man. I can't see it. I just can't. If it's something like that, man, I mean, the detectives just had to start dragging people in, man. Just go out on the street, just start dragging the rest of them in. If it got to be that, I mean, there's been some gossip and stuff been thrown out, but I mean, it gonna still mean the same thing. It wasn't no excuse, no excuse whatsoever, no excuse, man. And then people getting fired and all this. That's stupid. It's just stupid. No sense at all. No sense at all. I mean, you can't, like people, like you'll be sitting around trying to listen to people trying to explain, tell their side of the story, but it gonna still mean the same thing. It ain't no reason for you to be trying to explain to me. This young man was killed, and it wasn't no accident. It wasn't no accident. I mean, they sat there and literally killed this young man for no reason. What is it that you're trying to explain? Come on, man. You can't. Talking about the first responders and then the sheriff department. Man. And now, another case. But this one is in the jail. I know everybody done heard it. I know we hearing about the news report about another man being in the jail, 201 Poppy, saying that the jailers did the same thing. Killed this man in the jail. I mean, what to say? I'm not even angry about it. I know, but my reaction would just be like, man, I don't it don't make me angry. I just feel sad, man. I'm like, man, your point of view about human life is just, I feel real sorry for that man. I'm really sad. I really am. I want to be sad. I want to feel sorry because it don't make sense. It don't. It really don't. No sense at all. And then for you to try to explain, I mean, why you think you got to explain anything that a person got to die? I mean, it's just like there's no response in your. I mean, if you see blood, if you hear somebody holler and scream, nothing trigger anything, and like, okay, that's enough. All right, that's enough. It's like nothing, just kill them. That's the reason why I be sad. I mean, like, but then, things that happen, it's just so many things, get reported, it don't always be bad news, you know what I'm saying? It's just, some things like that, just, I mean, but I mean, those are not the only ones, those not, unfortunately, cases like those are still happening all around this country. It's really sad. It's really sad. But hope we all should pray. There are a lot of natural disasters all around the world. We all been informed that there was an earthquake in Turkey, but that's not the only natural disaster. There are droughts in North Africa. There's droughts in sub-Saharan Africa. There's floods. I mean, there are natural disasters, because natural disasters happen all over the world because of the weather. And, the earthquake not necessarily a weather type disaster, but a lot of our natural disasters, hurricanes, cyclones, floods, droughts because of the heat. Those are natural disasters. Then you have earthquakes, not necessarily a weather. It's not weather related, but it's considered to be a natural disaster because, an earthquake is an earthquake. But like I said, the earthquake is not the only natural disaster. There are natural disasters all over the world. And so we should still pray. Pray to God and pray. And what I'm doing right now, before I end my video, I'm glancing at this one a Russian newspaper, because we know the war in the Ukraine is continuing to be fought. Okay, I was glancing at one Russian newspaper, Pravda. I was glancing at it, just glancing at some of the reports. Okay, let me go back. Okay, now I'm glancing at another Russian newspaper. Okay, let me click back over. And this newspaper I'm glancing at is Vestia. Is Vestia. Okay, let me click back over. Let me click this Moscow Times. Okay. What time is it? Okay. Now this is just another newspaper I'm glancing at. Cause see, when I glance at the paper, I ain't really just trying to. When you don't really just see any like complete change in the war, well, that's what I'm. Now this is another Russian newspaper, the Moscow Times, and like I said, let me click back over. Let me go to this TASS, Russian News Agency. like I said, this is the last one I'm reading. I'm reading from the Russian newspaper, TASS, Russian news agency newspaper. I'm really not reading. I'm glancing at some of the articles I'm seeing it, and not really just seeing a big turnaround in the war. So, despite the fact that the United States government, as well as the so-called North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is giving all this military weaponry to the Ukraine, Russia is not losing the war. And let me say this, it's wintertime. This is not the time of the year for Russia to be trying to be mobile. You can't even, when it's wintertime, you can't even get an infantry. One infantry is stepping in the snow. And the temperature's cold, day and night. This is not a good time of the year to be talking about fighting. Nobody has an advantage. No side has an advantage in this type of, during this time of year. No side. And so, the important thing that Russia must do is put the weather first. Is make sure that this time of the year, all our military, thinking, the weather is winter. It's winter time. Now I see what the other side try to do. They try to make it sound like the West, they try to make it sound like you some kind of genius and that you're going to actually disregard the weather. And you're going to just keep on trying to, like you making it sound like you trying to attack. You're not going to be successful. You can't overlook the weather. The weather, it could be spring, winter, summer, fall. You can't overlook the weather. So, like I said, I'm reading this newspaper. I'm really wasn't reading. I was glancing at some of the titles. And I don't see any real change in the war. And so, which is a good thing in Russia's favor. They try to use weapons to fight, but it's not really just giving them no chance. And so they still, and one of the things I do be looking at in the Russian newspaper is casualties. See, when the United States government and NATO keep giving weapons to the Ukrainians, you pay attention to the casualties. Because when you see the Ukrainian military die, and who gonna take the place of the one that died? So it's things being reported about mercenaries, foreign mercenaries fighting in Ukraine, paid up to $2,730 one of the Russian chief investigators. The chairman of the investigative committee of Russia, Alexander Lastrykin, recalled that such incentives are prohibited by international standards, and saying that foreign mercenaries hired to fight for the Ukrainian side are paid between 30,000 and 100,000 hryvnias. Russia's investigative committee chairman Alexander Lastrykin told TASS on Monday the investigation has obtained information that the Kyiv regime, with the support of Collective West, encourages the participation of mercenaries in combat action on the side of Ukraine, which is prohibited by international norms. He said in the interview with TASS, saying we have established their order of recruitment, training, and participation in combat actions at the sum of bonus payments ranging between 30,000 and 100,000 hryvnias, which is the Ukrainian monetary money. So, that makes a difference. See, when you hear about, when we hear it being reported about the war in Ukraine, and you see who Russia and Ukraine are fighting, and the United States government and the so-called West or North Atlantic treaty organization giving weapons to the Ukrainian side. Now, while they in the process of fighting Russia, the Ukraine have casualties. So now you got this issue where you got some kind of mercenary fighting on the side of the Ukraine and being paid. Well, see, still, they have casualties. So when you have casualties, you're trying to estimate how long the West going to keep on giving the Ukrainians these weapons. And so, I think I'm going to have to get ready to end my video. I'm going to have to go ahead and end today's video. I'm going to come back next time. And but like I said, today I really want to just inform all those who are watching and listening that my mother had passed away. So Now, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine. Right here in the city of Memphis and the county, Sierra State, Tennessee. And thank all my family, my support for you, continue to support. And I always put God first. Thank God for all the blessings and the guidance that God provides all with. And you take care of yourself. And wish each and every one of you very best.